It is that time again. My scraps and trash pile has grown to a point where I just need to make something with it. So that is exactly what we're gonna do in today's video. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. You guys really loved the last time that I did some cardboard DIY projects. So this week we are back with more ideas. And I'm also crossing something off of my DIY bucket list, which I am so excited to try with you guys. You guys probably know what it is. And if you are a stationery lover, then you are especially going to love this project. We're gonna get started by going through my trash pile and seeing what we have and what we can make. Okay, so my recycling is definitely bigger than this, but I picked out some of the recyclables that I think are best for making paper clay. So we have some packaging over here. This looks like egg cartons, and if you guys have egg cartons that you recycle, definitely recycle it into paper clay. Obviously more packaging, so anything like this thick craft cardstock I like to save so I can shred that up as well. I'm gonna separate these white papers and we're gonna use that for our second project, which I am very excited about. We have some regular cardboard and then we also have toilet paper rolls, which I have been stockpiling as well. I don't know if the price of toilet paper has been going up, but I just paid $42 for a package of toilet paper, which is honestly insane. I actually thought the cashier rung it up twice, but it turned out to be a very expensive toilet paper mistake. I'm going to get every single use that I can out of this toilet paper, so we are going to use the toilet paper rolls. So I don't know if you guys are aware, but paper mache products are pretty expensive and they are becoming more and more popular in home decor. And as someone who has made paper mache decor before, I understand why it's so expensive, because it takes a really long time to make the product, and also the process of making paper mache itself is a whole thing, so I definitely understand why it costs so much. But if you already have cardboard and scraps laying around, it is actually so easy to make it at home. So we're gonna start with all of our pieces, cutting it up, and then boiling some water so that this can break down the paper. The DIY blender is back in commission. I just let this marinate for like 30 minutes or so. I know you can leave it overnight if you want to. The paper is pretty broken down, so I think it's safe to put it into the blender and chop everything up. I told you guys that I was gonna put this baby to use, so we definitely are gonna put it to the test today. And I hope that I made enough. From the last time that I tried this, I learned that you need a decent amount of water. So I'm just gonna add a little bit to the bottom, and you can always add more as you go along. Do I remember how to use this? Okay, power, let it rip. On, and then blend. And now that our paper looks like ground beef, we are ready to make our paper mache clay. So I'm mixing in some joint compound and also some Elmer's glue. And this project is actually inspired by this footed bowl that I saw on Lulu in Georgia. It is $124. So yeah, that's a little bit steep for a little decorative bowl. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I definitely could make something like that. So with this technique, we are gonna make that come to life. Gonna mix this all up, and then we're gonna form our bowl. I don't know if it's just me, but there is truly no better feeling than creating something completely from scratch, including making your own raw materials. And I think that's why I really fallen in love with making things out of paper and cardboard and recyclables. It allows you to reimagine everyday items into something new. And don't get me wrong, I still love going to the store and buying new decor, because that is always fun and exciting to see what the trends are and to get inspiration. But creating your own pieces is just so rewarding. And yes, sometimes it's a little bit of a headache, especially if things don't go according to plan. There's a lot of experimentation and trial and error, but that's what makes it so fun, and there really is no right or wrong way to do it. Okay, so the bowl is done. I think after one day, I'm gonna pop this out and then let it dry fully on the outside. And I still have to make the footed part, which I can do once I flip this over, but I thought I would just save myself some time and do it separately with this cup and basically mold it around this. And then I can attach them later after I pop both of them off. On today's episode of How It's Made, Tina is going to attempt to remove the paper mache from the bowl without breaking it. I'm scared, guys. I don't know if I should pull it out or like flip it over. Let's try. Oh no, that was a fail. Oh no, oh no. Oh no. I should have waited longer. Well, I'm just gonna put it back into the bowl, reshape it, and then give it like 2 more days before I try this. Okay. Luckily, you can kind of just shape this back together, but oh my goodness. This, on the other hand, definitely is way more dry, but I'm not gonna remove it for another day because now I'm scared. It has been a full 2 days now, and last night before I let this dry, I basically took it out without the plastic, but it was still very fragile, so I wanted to make sure that it had the bowl to like support it while it dried, and instead of leaving it with the plastic, I put a paper towel here, and I think that let enough air go through so that this could dry, so we should be able to lift it up, and it should stay. Oh my goodness. It didn't break. And now I could take the little foot that we made and just glue it to the bottom and then let that dry before we move on to the next step. Guys, I'm officially in my running era. At least I'm trying to be. Brian really inspired me after running his half marathon in Chicago a couple of weeks ago. We actually just signed up to run a 5K together next month, and this is gonna be like the longest distance that I've ever actually ran before. Fun fact, I was on the track team in high school, but I only ran short distances, so this is definitely gonna be a challenge for me, so wish me luck. I went ahead and ordered some new socks from Bombas, who are today's video sponsor. I love Bombas because they are a purpose-driven brand. Their mission is to help those in need. So with each item that you purchase, one is being donated back to someone in need. And that doesn't only apply to their socks, they also have underwear, t-shirts, and so many other really good essential basics that they do so well. So I picked up some of their performance socks. These are my favorite for any type of training because it has such a nice cushiony feel. They have a built-in arch support, and each sock is made for your left foot or your right foot, so it just hugs everything really nicely. So I definitely would recommend these. So I got a couple for me, and I also got a few for Brian because he loves these as well. And I also grabbed a couple of cute pairs for my summer outfits. The ruffle socks are the cutest, so I got this in a periwinkle. And I realized I didn't have any green socks, so I grabbed a couple. This one is actually so cute. They are sheer, they are gingham. Like, imagine these with a pair of sandals. They're gonna look so cute. If you want to check out Bombas, they did give me a 20% off discount code off of your first purchase, so you can scan my QR code right here or click on my link down below and use the code TINA20 at checkout. They also offer international shipping to over 200 countries now, which is really exciting. You can feel good and do good with Bombas knowing that your purchase is doing some real good out there, so definitely check them out. We are making paper today, guys. As a stationery lover, I have always wanted to make my own paper. I've been a stationery lover for as long as I can remember. I'm pretty sure this stems from going school supply shopping at the beginning of the school year. Like, I would love just going down the aisles, looking at paper, looking at pencils. Shout out if you guys remember Lovely White Stationery, because I was super obsessed with her. And up until recently, I have always been too afraid to use like my nice stationery, so I would use it sparingly. But in the past couple of years, I've learned to actually use it instead of hoarding it and just appreciating all of my nice stationery. So to be able to make my own paper today is really exciting. We're gonna start by blending this up and making our pulp. So in this mixture, it is like all scrap materials from past projects. I also have like envelopes and mail and paper towels. You can even use receipts. So this is literally just like a blend of all things that I would have just put in the recycling bin or thrown out. And as you can tell, I'm mostly using light paper. I did add a little bit of craft paper because I want this to have some speckling to it. So I'm hoping that this turns out really pretty. As long as your paper turns to be really easy to like pull apart, I feel like that is good enough to start blending it. This is how much pulp we got out of all of that paper, which I think is plenty. So I have everything set up. I have a tub full of water. I have my mold and decal here, which I just bought off of Amazon. You could totally DIY these with a frame and a screen, but it basically is 2 frames. The bottom part with the screen is called the mold, and then this top part is the decal. So once we dip it into the water and take it out, you'll be left with the paper shape inside here. This is my first time doing it. I've watched a ton of tutorials, and the first thing we have to do is to take the pulp, put it into the water, and then give it a really good stir so that you don't see any chunks. Okay, let's go! Okay, we're gonna go for the first dunk. I'm gonna use the smaller frame just so that we can practice a little bit. Here goes nothing. You basically wanna shake it around, even it out. Oh, I messed that up. One more try, straight up, shimmy the water around. I think I added too much paper towel though, because there's a lot of texture on here, so let's see what happens. Now we can open this up to see the shape of the paper. Ooh. And now we're supposed to flip this over and sponge it out. Wow, do you guys see it? I am screaming right now. In case you're wondering what I'm using for this drying system, it's basically a piece of fabric that I put a towel underneath. I also have a board underneath so I can move this around, but I think we did pretty good for this first one. I'm gonna try the larger one and see what we get with that. Okay, it is time for the big reveal. This is all dry, and now all I have to do is basically just peel it up. The texture on this looks so good, and it really does depend on what kind of cloth you put it on. So what I used was pretty smooth, so I think this is gonna be good for writing on. Okay, let's peel it. Wow. Oh, I love the little speckling. My first piece of paper. I can't believe I made this. Okay, I thought laying it down was satisfying, but peeling it up is honestly maybe more satisfying. my first time ever making paper, I am beyond happy with these. I feel like you would find these at a shop for a pretty penny. So these look expensive. They definitely look handmade. This makes me want to come out with like my own paper collection and stationery line because these are just so pretty. Something that I definitely noticed is that there is a difference in texture between the two sides. So where we sponged is a little bit rougher, and whatever material you're using on the bottom is going to imprint into the paper. So this one looks like canvas. The other towel that I use is a lot smoother. So there is like a rough side and then a smooth side. My favorites definitely have to be the ones with the pressed flowers and the little seeds in them. I just think they are so pretty. And the same thing happens here where you get the dried flowers on this front side, and then the back side doesn't really have much, but there is texture. You definitely can switch between the two sides. In the future, I think I would put more pulp so that the paper would be thicker, because if this was any thinner, I feel like I wouldn't be able to work with it and draw on it. But yeah, overall 10 out of 10 would recommend that you guys try this. There are so many things that you can make with them, like cards, gift tags, envelopes, invites, and of course artwork, which is what I'm gonna make with one of these sheets. For years now, I've been wanting to do a portrait of our first house, and I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to do that. So I'm gonna pick out one of these sheets and we're going to draw my first house on it. To get this as accurate as possible, I took a photo of our old house and I basically traced it in Procreate. So now we have just the outlines left. Can't believe this was our old house. And then I printed it out. So I'm gonna use this to trace on top of our handmade paper. Our first house holds a special place in our hearts because it's where we grew after taking the plunge to quit our jobs and do content creation full time. We learned so much while living there about ourselves, about what we liked and didn't like in a home. It's where I grew my DIY skills, and we were very lucky to live in the same area as our families. And as I was drawing this, I realized that this year marks 25 years since my parents bought our family home. My parents left Vietnam when they were only in their teens, and when they immigrated to the US, they literally came here with nothing. They met in California, got married, had me shortly after, and apparently we lived in Virginia for like 2 weeks before they decided that Chicago was where they wanted to settle. They built a business together and worked so incredibly hard, and when I turned 7, that was when we bought a house. It is honestly so incredible to see how far they've come, knowing their stories and how much they struggled to even get to that point. I am so incredibly lucky and grateful to have a place that brought so much comfort for so many years, and now 25 years later we have made so many memories there, and I think I definitely need to commemorate it with its own house portrait. So I'm 100% gonna do that after this one. I'm so happy that I finally did this to commemorate our first home. There were so many good memories here. Also, this maroon and like baby blue combo is something that I've been wanting to try, and I absolutely love how it looks. And if you're not much of a drawer, I actually tried this hack where you put it through the printer, and look at that, you guys, it actually worked. All I did was tape this to a regular piece of paper so that I could feed it through to my printer, and it printed on it without any problems. So very, very happy with this little print. I mean, just look at that with our handmade paper. This obviously is just a draft, but I already have so many ideas of what I can do with this. Guys, I am so happy that I finally got to make paper and add it to my growing list of hobbies. And I know I said that I've been better about using my stationery, but now that I just made this paper, I just want to like hoard it and keep it forever just unused. They are just so precious to me, so I'm gonna wait until I have the perfect opportunity to use them again. Let me know in the comments below which project was your favorite. I really hope that this gave you some ideas on what you can make with things that can be found in your trash. The possibilities are endless, and if you guys have any requests on what I can make next time I try this, this out, please leave them in the comments. I would love to hear them. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also subscribe down below if you haven't already. And if you want to see more from me, you can check me out over on Instagram where I post every single day. All right, so that's all from me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay inspired, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!